Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to run a masterclass on men's sexual health, basically. I'm going to tell you what a porn addiction is. I'm going to tell you how it affects the brain. I'm going to tell you how it affects the penis and erectile dysfunction. We're going to talk about the loss of chi and the loss of sexual energy. I'm going to talk about mental health and suicide in relation to porn addiction. And then I'm also going to speak to you about unhealthy ejaculation and why semen retention is really important. And I'm going to give you some solutions to how we're getting these guys to recover. Apart from me doing the hands-on treatment and doing the coaching, I've got some amazing new products that I want to talk to you about today. So if you've got any questions, please pop them in the comments. I can't always see what's going on. I don't know why, but I'll try and get back to them. And if not, then I'll answer you afterwards. Or if you're feeling like it needs to be a confidential question, then more than happy to answer that on private message. So send me a PM. All right, so what is a porn addiction? This is the one thing that people like to argue about when they speak to me. I often get messages saying, I don't have a porn addiction, but I really like watching porn, so I don't want to work on that, but I've got all these other issues. Can you help me? So when I ask these men, how often are you watching porn? They're like, oh, it's only every day. It's no more than that. And I'm like, that's a severe porn addiction. So a porn addiction is classified as watching porn once a month or more. And that's according to my definitions based on years and years of research and my lifetime commitment to this issue. And I've done surveys and I've done research and I've written books and all of this stuff. And if you look in a textbook, in a psychologist textbook, the definition of any addiction is if you can't go without something for a month, then you are addicted. Simple as that. So I'll give you an example why I say once a month. Now there's a scale here, obviously. One end of the scale is once a month or more, and the other end of the scale is the guy that I've treated in or spoken to in America, who's only 18 now, and he was watching it 36 times a day, every single day, and masturbating that many times as well. So obviously there's a scale of this, right? So once a month, I had a 71-year-old come in and he was arguing with me that he didn't have a porn addiction because he was watching it once a month, but he was only masturbating once a month, right? So if you're only masturbating when you watch porn and vice versa, then you have a porn addiction, right? It can be once every couple of months. If you can't masturbate without porn, you have a porn addiction. And I teach men how to do that. It's called conscious self-pleasure. So that's one of my amazing solutions to break the neural pathways in the brain, which is really cool. So once a month or more is a dependence on porn. And we do see the effects of that because that 71-year-old been watching it for 55 years, right? And he'd been doing that for a long time. And I said, when was the last time you masturbated without porn? He doesn't remember, right? 20, 30 years ago, right? So that's what we define as a porn addiction. So if you're watching it once a month or more and it's every day or it's a couple of times a week and you don't think it's a big deal, it's still doing major damage to your body, right? And I'm going to go into that now. So the actual porn addiction itself is not a sex addiction. I don't care what anyone says online or in books. This is my belief system based on, I'm an expert in this field, right? So I'm allowed to say this stuff. So it's not a sex addiction because sex addiction is always, 100% always a porn addiction that's turned into something else, right? You can argue with me, all the psychologists watching, you can go for your life, but that is my 100% research and findings of when we work with sex addiction versus porn addiction, right? So when you watch porn, your brain goes off like a fireworks display, right? And releases a whole lot of chemicals and hormones into the body, and you might feel tingles, you might feel, and let's talk about back when you first started watching porn, okay? So this isn't now, because if you've been watching it for 20, 30 years, this won't be happening necessarily. The chemical reaction is, but the reactions in your body won't be the same. So tingles, feeling super, super horny, heart rate's increasing, back of your neck standing up, like everything's going off. And that's the hormones and chemicals being produced in the brain, right? So you've got oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. Serotonin is the happy hormone. You get to feel happy when you've got serotonin in your system. That's why exercise is really important because that generates serotonin. Someone that has depression and is on antidepressants, they're low in serotonin. Well, apparently. Anyway, that's a whole other story. So serotonin, you get to feel happy while you're watching porn and masturbating, right? If you just watched porn and didn't masturbate your whole life, you would not have the same addiction and you would not have the same problems going on in your body. It's because you couple the pleasure with the porn that everything goes horribly wrong or horribly right, according to what's happening in your body. So you've got the serotonin, then the oxytocin is the bonding hormone, right? So women produce this in really high levels when they give birth, right? So they can bond with the baby. You get to experience oxytocin when you're all loved up and dating someone and having sex with someone, and also, cuddling your kids. You get to feel oxytocin. It's the love drug. But the oxytocin means that you're bonding to what you're watching, right? So everything that you've seen, you won't be bonding to specific actresses, if you want to call them that, because no one is watching the same video over and over again anymore. It's not a VHS situation anymore. It's not a DVD, right? So there's a part of the brain called the subconscious mind that actually thinks that if your body is having a reaction to something, that it's happening to you, right? I could sit here and cut up a lemon, talk about this lemon and how bitter and disgusting it is and how juicy, and I start cutting up the lemon, or I go to put it near my mouth. If I went into a whole lot of detail, your mouth could start salivating. And every time I tell that story, my mouth starts to salivate. Is there a lemon here? No. If you're watching a movie and you're crying and you're thinking, God, what if my child died? That would be horrible, blah, blah, blah. You're having a reaction, right? Or you might be scared, or you might be in an adrenaline rush from an action movie. Your body feels like it's actually there, right? So if you think about all of the porn that you've watched from day dot to now, your subconscious mind thinks that you were there if you had a reaction to it, right? And then you couple that with the bonding hormone, and this is why men are withdrawing from sex, and it's why they're withdrawing from relationships. It's why they're withdrawing from social scenes, and women in general, and guys, if you're gay. And it's causing a major problem in society, right? So that's the oxytocin. Then you've got the dopamine. The dopamine is the addictive hormone, right? It's the novelty drug. I love what I see and I want to see more of that, right? So it's very hard the first time you pick up porn to not want to go and do that again, right? Just like guys, we call them adrenaline junkies, that were jumping out of a plane the first time. Oh my God, I think I'm going to die, right? I didn't die. So there's a part of the brain, which is in the hindbrain, that says it's the impulse part. We didn't die from this yesterday, so let's do it again today. What about tomorrow? And let's do it again the next day and the next day, right? So that's that part of the brain that connects in with the dopamine and has these skydiving guys wanting to dive time and time again, if not straight after, right? So that's what happens with porn, right? The dopamine kicks in before you sit down and watch porn. So you might be driving home from work and you might be thinking, oh, no one's home. I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to masturbate and watch porn. Might be, that as soon as you wake up, that's what you do. So that's where the dopamine starts to kick in, right? So it's not just while you're watching porn that these things happen. Then you've got the opiates and the tunnel vision. Opiates are feel-good chemicals, so they start flooding through, and then you've got the tunnel vision, which, as you probably all have known, when you masturbate, things can happen in the outside world and you're like, I didn't hear it, I didn't know, my mum was coming down the hallway, I'm going to finish anyway, the earthquake started, I'm busy, right? So that's what tunnel vision is. So all of these fireworks displays and things are happening in your body and going off in your brain. And if you watch porn every single day for a week, say you're in 1993 and you've just discovered the internet and you're about 19 years old, then you are already addicted to porn. It's exactly the same as a drug addiction. If you took cocaine every single day for a week, you would have a drug addiction, right? So you might still sleep on cocaine, you might still have a nap and maybe eat something. It's not the same as ice, obviously. But people don't even associate porn with this kind of addictive behavior and that it's causing the exact same reaction in the body. It does the same damage to the brain as well, right? So that's what the porn addiction is. It's the chemicals and hormones, and then the brain starts to go, well, I'm not coping with this level of chemicals and hormones in my body, so I'm going to start to change and adapt. And then when it starts to adapt, it changes the neural pathways, which are like the little programs in your brain, and it starts to rely on those chemicals and hormones to survive, right? Because there's a come down from all of these happy hormones, right? I'm going to talk about the come down in a sec, which we call the ejaculation hangover, but there's this come down of chemicals, right? So it's the hit and crash, hit and crash. And just like someone taking heroin or whatever, the come down is horrible. And then your body wants to go back up again, right? So it's hit, crash, hit, crash. Guys say to me all the time, I'm okay for a couple of days and then I have to masturbate again or I have to watch porn again. And then I'm okay for a couple of days, right? That's what we call the porn addiction cycle, right? So it's the brain searching for the next hit because you're starting to come down gradually over the days and you're like, no, I need to do this again, right? So it's the brain trying to fill itself with these chemicals and hormones, right? So it's a neural addiction. It's not a sex addiction, okay? And when that happens, the hit, crash, you're in a constant state of addiction, then your energy levels are going to be really, really shit. Because when that crash happens, you release all those chemicals and hormones. So you're producing ridiculous high amounts and then they're all gone as well. So someone who isn't doing that is balanced in terms of those chemicals and hormones, right? So when those levels drop, prolactin increases. That's another hormone that causes impotence, right? And the impotence also comes in with overstimulating your brain and desensitizing your penis. So no man is ever sitting down with a massive hard erection and saying, oh, I think I'll watch a bit of porn today, right? That doesn't happen anymore. It's 4:00 or it's time to get up or I just got to go to the gym and I'm going to masturbate and I'm going to watch porn, right? This is what is happening. And then you're asking your penis to try and turn yourself on. Now with that brain addiction and with this penis stuff, there's no sexual energy going on there, right? We call it organic sexual energy. Organic sexual energy is, back in the day when I worked in an office in the city and it was Friday and it was summer and everyone had their best suits on and the girls were fixing their makeup before they left work. You're probably already drunk at your desk on a Friday. And the sun's out, it's beer o'clock and everyone at 4:30, 5:00, the whole city was just buzzing, right? And everyone would be out drinking and you'd be on the train and in bed by 8 p.m. drunk, right? That used to be about the sexual energy. People would wear their best ties and they'd try and interact with people and they'd get phone numbers and like all of this amazing sexual energy would be happening. And, you'd hear music and you still hear music that you think, oh, I remember being in that club around this age. Sexual energy is organic arousal, right? And that's not happening at all with porn. In fact, porn is actually the opposite of sensuality and arousal and sexual energy and kundalini, okay? So the chemicals and hormones are going up and down. When you release that and you're in the down cycle, you're also ejaculating, right? So this is where ejaculation comes in terms of how healthy or unhealthy is ejaculation, right? People will argue, well, what if you have sex every day with your wife? What's the big deal? Same, right? Whether you're masturbating to porn or having sex and you're ejaculating a lot, this is exactly the same, right? So when you ejaculate, your body goes into a slump, into an ejaculation hangover. Now, there's lots of reasons why that is happening, all right? So you're releasing the chemicals and hormones, obviously, and all guys know that they can roll over and go to sleep after this or they feel really tired afterwards. Now, it's because you've had that crash of, so the chemicals and hormones are also produced when you have sex, but not to the level and definitely not the dopamine, okay? So this is why guys aren't giving the same buzz out of sex as they are when they're watching porn. So the body has to reproduce all of the sperm that you lost. And in order to do that, it requires energy. And just like when you're starting to get a cold and the thymus shuts the body down because it's about to fight these bacteria and the virus and you feel like you've been hit by a truck, that's what's happening with ejaculation because your body's going into this, has to generate all of this energy to produce a million gazillion sperm that you just lost, okay? Now, you're also losing chi. Now, I'm a kinesiologist, intuitive healer. I do a number of alternative health modalities, and we always work with chi, right? It's very Chinese medicine based as well, kinesiology, working with chi and meridians and organs, glands, chakras, all of those things. And it's all about moving the energy and unblocking what is blocking it. Now, we store a lot of emotions in organs and glands and chakras and things like that as well. So with the chi is your life force energy. It's there at conception. It's the energy, the electrons, the neurons, if you want to come from quantum physics or science or energy work or pranic energy. It's called Jing. In Tantra, we call it Kundalini. It's a little bit different to chi. But it's this energy flow that keeps everything moving and shaking and functioning, right? Chi is stored in fluids, seminal fluids, blood, all of these things. So when you ejaculate, you lose your chi. You lose sexual energy when you ejaculate. And you also have this brain addiction and all of the chemicals and hormones flooding out as well. Then you've got the minerals and nutrients that you lose when you ejaculate. And this is really important, this part, okay? So zinc is the number one nutrient and mineral for male mineral, basically. Zinc is not produced in the body. We have to supplement zinc or get it from foods. And the foods that we're eating these days are definitely not enriched with the nutrients and minerals and things that we need, right? It's to do with the soil quality. It's to do with the way that foods are frozen. It's to do with the frozen packaged food and all of that that we're eating, right? So supplementation is really the only way to go. Now, zinc, when you ejaculate, you lose half your daily zinc, right? Half your daily zinc. If you're not intaking zinc and you already don't have any zinc, you're just depleting your zinc levels more and more and more. And just like the body, for example, the heart needs to be at a certain pH level to function and survive, right? Otherwise you die. And so do the other organs. And when you don't have the right pH level in your body, the heart will draw the minerals and nutrients from the bones, right? So osteoporosis being, that's what just happens when we get older and arthritis and things. No, it means you haven't got the right nutrients in your diet, right? So you lose zinc, you lose copper, and you lose selenium. They're the three main ones, right? Zinc is responsible for producing testosterone and all the things that go with testosterone. So, if you've got a zinc deficiency, you're losing hair, you've got acne. It's to do with muscle tone and building muscle, all of the male stuff, right? Then you've got the selenium and the copper. Now, copper and zinc work together as cofactors in the body, right? So if zinc goes down, copper goes up. Now, when you have a copper toxicity and a zinc deficiency, if you wanted to look up the encyclopedia, as we used to say, or look up the dictionary and look for the definition of a porn addict, that's what you would see, right? You would see someone who is depleted and greasy skin and oily hair and hair falling out and pimples and no energy and low moods and depression and, all of these things, right? So that's what's happening when you ejaculate, and that's why it's not clever to ejaculate often. And a whole other video I can do, but I teach men how to retain their semen and still have orgasms, right? So they have orgasms without ejaculation. Those two are separate processes. They can be separated with training of the body, and that's what my programs are all about. We teach you how to have full body orgasms without ejaculation, and multiple orgasms, right? It's all to do with breath work and energy techniques and all of these things, which I'm not going to go into today. So that's what's happening when you're ejaculating. Now, the brain damage from porn addiction, from all of this happening, is it damages the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is responsible. It's like the control panel of your personality. It's responsible for memory, focus, concentration, decision-making, controlling sexual behaviors, emotional expression. It's where all the mood swings happen and the mental health stuff, depression, anxiety, all of those things. You also lose grey matter in the brain when you have a porn addiction, and grey matter is responsible for the nervous system, coordination, all of the functional things in the body. Trying not to go into too much technical detail here for people. All right, so you've got a damaged brain, you've got erectile dysfunction, you've got no energy and no nutrients or minerals in the body. This is porn addiction, okay? So I don't come from a standpoint of standing on a soapbox and saying, it's degrading to women and it's promoting sexual violence. It is. And I think we all know that. And I think we've moved on from the moral dilemma and the moral conversation around porn. And for those of you that don't think there's anything wrong with watching porn, a lot of women have this kind of belief system because it's been in society for so long, and they don't know how this all works, and men just do it. That's what men do, but they don't actually understand. Then they'll blame themselves for the erectile dysfunction, and they'll blame themselves for the mood swings, and and porn addiction turns into something else every single time, right? Because you're constantly pushing the envelope. You're constantly pushing that dopamine receptors. You want more and more, and you're fast forwarding through this video and this part and next time and tomorrow, and you're constantly in that state of, I need to feel arousal, and it gets higher and higher and higher and higher to the point where people are going to sex workers, and they're going to rub and tug massages, and they're just getting on dating sites, or just going on Tinder just to get that rush from attractive women liking them and things like that, right? So it's turning into something else. We've got sex offenders, we've got pedophiles, and we've got serial killers. It all comes down to this brain addiction and this mental disease in the body, right? Now, because of all of that brain damage, and it's known to cause mood swings, depression, and anxiety, all of the teens that are coming through and that speak to me are all depressed. They've all got performance anxiety, even though they've never had to perform. They've got anxiety in general in school. They've got malfunctioning brains, underdeveloped brains, and they're all like wanting to kill themselves before they're 17, and they haven't even, they're impotent, and they've not even kissed a girl or had sex, right? So this is a really serious issue, and this is the standpoint that I come from, because if you're not looking at this in your life, in your partner's life, and in your children's lives, then you're actually enabling this. It's not even the behavior, because the behavior is a thing to me. There's no judgment, and I help men overcome this stuff every day. Anyway, so that's what's happening. When you ejaculate all the time, these minerals and nutrients that they keep the prostate healthy. I can say this a million times. These nutrients and minerals that you're ejaculating are meant to keep the prostate healthy and stay in the body. Right? Doctors and urologists will argue that men have to masturbate to keep the prostate healthy and keep all the tubes working and things like that. I disagree. Maybe once in a blue moon that has to happen, and I agree with that on a medical level. But in terms of the ejaculation that's going on, and the doctors and that aren't even flagging porn addiction as a thing, even for erectile dysfunction, they just hand over the pills and go, oh, I wonder why this is happening so much, right? So the prostate inflammation goes up, right? Because these nutrients and minerals protect the prostate. Your energy goes down. You're increased in depression, anxiety, hormone imbalances. This is from ejaculation. Poor sleep, acne, hair loss, colds, and viruses all the time. So your immune system is compromised, and there's mood swings. So you've got less energy to produce more sperm. So we've got a major problem across the globe of sperm being a problem, fertility and reproduction, right? The population is decreasing, and there's so many articles out there going, oh, I wonder what's happening. Big sigh. I can tell you exactly what's happening. All right. So let me see. I've gone through all of that. Now I'm going to talk to you about how to sort this out. Right. So if you're not supplementing as a man, then I can help you. Right. And I have a business partner now, which is really exciting. His name is Mick Jordan, and he's a naturopath, and he's a sports amazing expert. He works with the St Kilda Football Club, and he works with the Australian Olympic teams, and he is now working with me on all of this. So we're doing a lot of research, and I have basically discovered through him a product called Balance Oil from Zinzino. And I have some right here. You can see this. So it's an omega-3 supplement. It's high purity, high quality, and it contains DHA, EPA, and polyphenols. If I've said that right, which are antioxidants that help us digest the oil. Right. So what it does is it's essential fatty acids, basically. So if you want to Google this, you'll see it increases sperm production. Right. And also helps with sperm morphology, which is the structure of the sperm, in terms of, do they have tails? Are they double-headed? I don't know if you get double-headed sperm. Anyway, it's to do with the morphology and the sperm motility, which is the movement, right? So the zinc also helps the little swimmers get to the egg. And if you don't have zinc and you're trying to have a baby, then that's the first thing you need to look at, right? So it increases all the sperm production stuff. So therefore improves reproductive health. And you'll love this. Men always talk to me about their sperm volume, and I don't know why. It's a man thing, and I get that. So it increases semen volume, this stuff. It also increases testicle size. So if you want larger testicles, then this is the product for you. Now, what else does it do? We've got, it decreases prostate inflammation, because Balance Oil works on the inflammation in the body. It works on the inflammation in the cells. So every 2 to 3 months, I think it's 3 months, your cells regenerate. So all of those cells die off and you've got new cells. So no cells in your body, your organs, 3 months later are the same cells that they were 3 months ago. So this helps to clean the cells, and your cells will reproduce they'll clone the same type of cells. So if you've got unhealthy cells, guess what's going to happen 3 months later? More unhealthy cells. And that just gets worse and worse as you get more unhealthy. So the reason why I went on this product is because I have the worst immune system possible. And I have a lot of inflammation in my body, which I hadn't even flagged, but I've got bursitis in my shoulders. All of the COVID stuff brought it to a head. I had a cold since November for months and months and months and months and months. And so that's why I went on it. So it's helping my immune system, which is what it does for guys as well. It improves and assists with brain function. Now, these EFAs, so essential fatty acids, and the DHA in particular, have been researched, and there are many studies out there where they have been used to help methamphetamine drug users recover from their drug addiction in terms of the brain function, right? So it resets, it helps make the dopamine receptors more sensitive. Okay, so when a man stops watching porn, he'll discover that he's got no sexual energy. He'll feel really tired. He won't feel like masturbating, won't feel like having sex, and he'll feel quite depleted, and that's completely normal. And this is why it's really tricky to do this on your own, because if you don't know this stuff and you don't know how to sort it out once it starts to change, then you end up relapsing and being back on porn, which is what the no-fap community is doing, and that's why it's not working. So it's helping with the brain to recover from the porn addiction and the dopamine receptors, because when your sexual energy starts to pick up after, say, a couple of months or a couple of weeks, depending on how long you've been watching porn, everything is a trigger, because it's called hyperfrontality, where your brain is super sensitive to triggers. You've been producing ridiculous amounts of testosterone in your body and crashing, and so someone at the supermarket can be enough to make you just go and masturbate straight away, either in the car or when you get home. And you might be laughing at that, but trust me when I hear this a lot. And we call that the supermarket guy, and it's in my new book, because men are triggered so heavily by Instagram especially, or, by just lots and lots of things. Like, they can go to a bar and you think everyone's like, oh, he's cute, and whereas some of the guys are like really oversensitive and they're struggling and they need to go and masturbate, right? So it's a thing. And when your sexual energy starts to pick up, and it will once you get off porn, then everything becomes a trigger, and you have to repair the brain. You have to supplement with the zinc. You have to get these nutrients and minerals back into your body after, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of masturbating like this and watching porn. What else does it do? The vitamin D in it, which it contains as well, also increases sperm production and testosterone. which is amazing. And also all of this decreases then mental health issues. So depression, anxiety, all of those things. Now, women can take this stuff as well, and I'm taking it, and I'm starting to build a team of people that are business partners that are going to be selling this, which is really exciting, and they're all women. So if there's any guys watching this and you want to sell this product and get involved in this work that I'm doing around porn addiction and researching and stuff like that, please let me know, because I'd love to talk to you. So that's the balance oil that I've just been talking about here. It comes with a test kit. It's a blood test kit. You do it at home. You send it off to Queensland. It then goes to Norway in about 2.5 weeks. You get the test results back. It looks at all the inflammation markers and all of the other things that are very technical, and I can't go into it because I'd look stupid talking about it. But what we do have is Mick Jordan, who's my naturopath, who will be, because I know him, you get a free or a complimentary session with him to talk about your issues and also decipher your blood test results, which is really exciting because you do need that. So what else do I need to tell you? Right, the Healy, which is sitting here, is my new device. I've had this for a month. This is also really, really good for men's sexual health because it helps with the inflammation in the body. It does a whole lot of stuff in terms of pain, and there's a whole lot of programs you can run. But specifically, I just wanted to mention today that it works with the inflammation in the body, so it can work with the prostate, and also, if you've got any injuries or anything like that. And then we run like a kidney program, which works with the kidneys. It's like Chinese medicine. Kidneys are responsible for the sex organs, the reproductive system, the genitals, sex organs, same thing. And like the anxiety sits in the bladder, the anger and resentment sits in the liver. So all of these organs hold a whole lot of relevant things, so we can work with these organs to then fix other things or sort out other things, right? So the kidney program we run for the sex organs, and also for impotence as well, is what that program is for, and the prostate, helping with the prostate inflammation. So there's lots and lots of stuff going on online, and I'm researching and following other men that are using the Healy device, so I can see what results they're having, so I can share some testimonials with you. All right, now if you want to buy any of this stuff, let me know. The Healy, I'm also building a team which is surprisingly financially beneficial, which I wasn't expecting, because that's not what I was doing it for. I've been following these microcurrent devices for years. There was one called Spooky years ago, which was very clunky and very expensive, and you had to run it with a laptop and fingernail clippings, and it was all a bit too hard. And these personal devices you just wear, there's electrodes that hook up to your ears or the side of pain, which is my shoulder, or my wristbands. One of them broke yesterday, so I'm devastated because my bird threw the cord. So this Healy device has changed my life, and if you watch my other videos, you'll see I was having 2 migraines a day, and now I've had 2 in 19 days, so I'm really, really excited. So if you want to buy this, talk to me. If you want to buy the balance oil, talk to me. If you want to sell this as a business opportunity, and right now, because my business has been closed since March, this is exactly what I needed, and it is introducing me to a whole lot of people, a whole lot of research, because I love research and I love getting in there and finding out things in relation specifically to porn addiction. Because you can be absolutely put money on it that no one in this company, Balance Oil, that's been around for 15 years in Norway, and it's worldwide now, knows anything about porn addiction, right? So I come in and we make it all relative, and it's just, I wish I could change the label and put porn elixir on it. Because it's just incredible, and it's going to help so many men. Okay, that's it from me today. Thank you for joining my masterclass. I hope you learn a lot. If you've got any questions, please let me know. If you'd like to share this, then you're more than welcome. I'm going to pop it up on YouTube as well, so you can access it. I'm going to pop it on Instagram as well. So all have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.